Hey guys, it's Nolan from Trade and Train. So if you've been following us in our free Telegram channel, you'll know we've been sending out our Wednesday watch list today, our updated watch list, which we send out twice a week. And we asked you, would you want us to do a YouTube video, go through some of the charts on the watch list? 100% of you said yes, so here we are. And by the way, if you are interested in our watch list, we do send it out to our members, our paying members, obviously, and we do have a dedicated Telegram channel as well for non-members who are interested in the watch list. I'm going to be honest, it's a subscription-based channel. So if you are interested in getting the watch list sent to your phone or computer, you can get in touch with us and we'll give you the details of that. And it's literally less than the cost of a coffee a day. So really good. We do the analysis for you, and you know, it saves you a bit of time, doesn't it? So if you're interested, you can actually email me, nolan@tradeandtrain.com, and I'll get back to you. Right, so since we sent out this watch list, actually we've seen some movement in the market. We've seen the a little bit of strength in the dollar. So as you can see, got the watch list in front of me here, the original PowerPoint presentation. So firstly, Gbp Usd. So looking for a nice pullback on this, because we've had, as you can see, price has found 1.4 as a strong level of resistance. So what does that mean? It means that the market was finding no more buyers at that 1.4 level, okay? And then all of a sudden there's a demand, okay? And we actually get price pushed to the upside into that 141.50 level. Okay, so now there's a demand for pound USD. So what we would now look for is price to come back and retest this 1.4 zone. Okay, what we'd expect to happen is that zone now, that resistance would now become support. It won't necessarily happen, but that's what we'd be looking for. We'd be looking for sellers to come in. So there's potentially a trade there to short or to sell the market into that 1.4 zone, where we'd be watching price to see if we get buyers come in for another move to the upside. So this is what we were looking for, or this is what we sent out to the traders to look for, if they were firstly interested in the short down to that 1.4 level. Okay, so nice little level of H1 support here. We want price to close below, and then we'll be looking for that pullback and then a short trade into that 1.4 level. So let's just have a look at the chart. And as you can see, things have really changed since then. I'm just going to bring that back. Actually, if we look at the daily chart when we actually sent this out earlier, okay, we've got the daily price action looking like that, and now look at that. We've actually got a definite change. If we close like that, then that's looking good for that retest of 1.4. As you can see, we are now closing below that level which I'd shown you on the watch list chart. So if we get like that 4-hour close below, which it looks pretty much as though we could do, of course the 4-hour candle will close at 6 p.m. UK time. So at the moment it's 6 minutes past 5 in the UK. So we've got, as you can see, 53 minutes 47 seconds until this candle closes. We can look for price to come back, retest that level, and then look for sellers to come in. And now when I say look for sellers to come in, you know, what are you going to look for? Well, you're going to look on the smaller time frames for things like an evening star pattern, which is a reversal pattern, maybe on the 15-minute time frame. You can look for an engulfing seller candle rejecting this level. You can also look for a shooting star candle. So if you don't know what any of those are, just go onto Google and have a look. So evening star pattern, shooting star pattern, engulfing salad candle, any of those after retesting this level would potentially be a sell setup. You have to take in, of course, reward to risk as well. Okay, so the distance between where you're trading from and your target, it needs to be worthwhile. It needs to be at least a 1-to-1 trade. So we'll have to see what the market gives us, okay, and is it possible to trade it. But that's what I've been looking for. Listen, if you're just a trend trader, then you're not really going to be interested in this, okay. You're just going to wait. You're going to sit on your hands, wait for price to come back down into this zone, and then you're going to see, okay, do we start to see buyers come in? Do we start to see a change of cycle on the smaller time frame? And do we start to see higher highs, higher lows? Okay, that's what you're going to be looking for. So trend traders, you're just going to sit and wait. Traders who don't mind a counter trend trade as well, can look for that basically to happen. So Pound USD, pretty clear picture. It looks like we're heading towards that 1.4 now, but it's a case now of, did you actually notice, guys, that this level here matches up pretty nicely with the big number 1.41? We often see big numbers act as support and resistance in the market. We've got that big number 1.4 here, and we've got 1.41 here, as you can see. So we've broken 1.41. Look for the retest, rejection, look to sell towards 1.4. So I'm not going to bring the watch list down again, but I've marked out the charts of interest. Some of these I've already talked about in our free update that we do in our Telegram channel every weekday morning. So if you're not a member of our free Telegram channel, I'll put the link in somewhere below this video. Just get yourself involved, get yourself joined. It's totally free. Get loads of free information. So I think I talked about USD Cad. Now this is looking promising, really promising. I like the look of this candle. Still not enough yet to get me involved. So what am I looking at? What am I looking for? Well, dollar CAD has just been dropping for weeks now, since this high here in March 2020. Look, it's just been dropping, hasn't it? So this is a seller's market, do not get me wrong, but we are at a weekly, or even a monthly, you could say as well, level of support. Excuse me, guys. So September 2017, we saw buyers come in, and they came in pretty sharpish, didn't they? So we're at that same level again. We've tested that. We actually broke the low very slightly. Now, I'm not necessarily expecting a big reversal like we did here. We got to this support. We had an impulse, a correction, impulse, correction. I'm not really expecting that. I'm quite open. But what I am looking for is that pullback into the moving averages here on the weekly time frame. We've had our impulse movement, looking for that correction into firstly that 8 EMA, and then maybe we'll have a little bit of a deeper pullback. But certainly for me, 8 EMA would be a nice weekly target for any longs the counter trend trade back into this moving average. So what are we going to look for? How are we going to look to trade this? Well, drop down to the H1 chart, and you can see this level here of resistance. Okay, again, it's very similar to that pound USD where price was it's almost like a ceiling, isn't it? It's bouncing on the ceiling, bouncing on the ceiling, bouncing on the ceiling, bouncing on the ceiling. Okay, there are no the market doesn't want to pay more than this price for this particular pair. That's the way you can think about it. Okay, so if we're going to see that that weekly pullback, weekly correction, then we need to start to see price close above this level. Okay, we want to see the price now start to go up. Here is the price, you know, it's the actual exchange rate between the dollar and the CAD, the US dollar and the CAD. So we're going to be looking for that trade, the retest, look to go long. And then you can look to your weekly as a potential guide for your target. If you put on your ATMA, that could be your target. You may decide something else. That's what I'm going to personally be looking for. So look for price to break above this zone, close above, pull back, retest, correction, and then look for buyers to come in, and then you can trade it up into that weekly 8 moving average, or you know, wherever you want to, or wherever you feel like you could be taking profit. But until we actually have a hourly close above here, even a 4 hourly close, then I'm not really interested, purely because it's acted as an area where sellers come in on numerous occasions. So that is something I am looking at. Euro Swissy, this is something I actually sent out to the traders yesterday, but I've put it on the watch list as well, which yeah, just look at this one here. We've actually got a channel. Okay, as you can see, price is bouncing within a channel. We had a false break here, and this potentially is what's called a bullish flag. Okay, and this will be what's called your flagpole. This is the impulse which led to this flag, and a flag is a correction pattern, but it's a continuation pattern. So what we'd actually be looking for is basically that to happen, for price to break out of the flag and have another impulse to the upside. Now we don't know whether that's going to happen yet, okay, but I'm expecting that move there, and we're either then going to reverse again and potentially form another low, or we could break to the upside for the next impulse. I'm having trouble drawing it for some reason. There we go. And you know, you'd look for a pullback, etc. So this is in a beautiful area because we've come to the bottom of the channel, and what makes this nice, what makes this a nice trade now, is the fact that we've broken this trend line, we've closed above it, and we're pulling back. Oh, okay, we've had this little wick here, so this looks really nice. This is an impulse. This is your first impulse to the upside, and this is your consolidation, and then expecting that further move up towards the top of the channel. So you can do a couple of things. You can look to the left for maybe a particular level, that 1.09600 where we've seen that tip of the wick there. We can see that tip of the wick there as well, so that's an interesting area, you know, for people wanting to place maybe a limit order, buy limit order. You could look to place a trade there, a buy limit order there if you want to, but I would make sure that my stop is underneath this low. You could also use Fibonacci as well, by drawing a Fibonacci from the bottom of the impulse to the top of the impulse. You can see that that level there is actually a 50% retracement of this move. So that is quite interesting. Now, if you think this could pull back a little bit deeper, you've got your 61.8% fib retracement there, where you could be looking for price to come into that level and looking for buyers to come in. So, you know, either buy limits somewhere around here, or have alerts set, looking for price to come into the levels, looking for buyers to come in, and then looking to get involved. So that looks really nice, and there's a nice reward to risk, you know, from down here up to here. So really, really nice. I can notice a little bit of a trend line as well there. Sorry, a CTL, I should say, counter trend line. So be looking for that to break. So really do like Euro Swissy to the upside, so keep your eyes on that one. And there's a couple of pound pairs that look quite decent. I'm going to go through pound Kiwi. bear with me guys, because I've got screens all over the place here. Yep, so we've had a daily close here. This has just been motoring, hasn't it? This has actually gone more than when I sent out the watch list. But I was actually looking for a retest at this level. Resistance, as you can see, clear break. It looks like we're going to have a daily close above that level. Ideally looking for price to come back into that zone before we see buyers come in again. So I mean, that looks like a pretty strong candle to me. Whether we see that pull back into the level, I don't know, but it would be nice if we did. Have alerts set anyway, round about 195, somewhere around there, because you want to know when price gets into that zone, and then you'll be looking for buyers to come in. And also pound Swissy looking interesting as well. This is on the watch list. Again, look, we've got support here, we've got resistance. Now this could reject here again, like it did here, and we can see some selling. Or if we have a daily close above this level, look for the pullback on a smaller time frame retest, and then look to go long from here. So there's a couple of options actually, depending on what happens now. It looks like we could get some rejection here. So if we get some rejection here, we can look for some downside. Maybe look on the smaller time frames, that pullback and rejection. Looking at the chart, I would suggest that this level would be a level to think about taking profits, round about 126.50 if you were going to sell that. Just purely because, yeah, it can break down a little bit more. I can see that from the wicks and the wicks here, but you know, there's a saying, I'd rather be the first man out than the last man out, if you like. So yeah, 126.50 will be a nice target for me. But of course, if you see that break to the upside and close above, then we can look for that retest back into, look, another big number guys, 128, and then look to go long if we see buyers come in. Last chart I want to look at today, which is on the watch list, is silver. We've got a nice daily uptrend here, as you can see. So no point trying to buy here. We want to look to buy. If you want to trade with the trend, you want to look to buy when price has corrected or pulled back. Now we've got a couple of areas here where price could pull back to. We've got our trend line, where you would be looking for buyers to come in on the smaller time frame. Targets for me would be up into this zone here, just past 28, where we saw resistance. Now we may pull back into this level. Okay, this level acted as support here, resistance. So we actually could see something like that, and then that. So, you know, trend line and also 26.50 here could act as areas where those buyers come in. So have alerts set, you know, keep your eye on silver. We come into any of these zones, start looking for buyers, and just above 28 or even 28 actually would be a good target for any longs. Now, of course, we're not guaranteed to continue the trend. If we see price just solidly break out, then we're going to be looking for that trade there. Okay, so 26.50 in this case will be looking at as an area of resistance to sell. So a couple of options there for silver depending on what price does. So I hope that gives you an idea of some things to look at for the rest of the week, and maybe even into early next week as well. Like I say, we've got our free Telegram channel. Make sure you get involved with that. It's free to join. We do a video every weekday morning, giving you some charts of interest and what we're looking for, as well as other free information as well. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. It would be great if you could like this video, Share the video. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel already, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So from me and the team, have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye guys.